Welcome back, folks. Chef Nancy Banner in our Builder Source kitchen, and she is transforming comfort foods into healing foods that feed the mind, body, and spirit. Nancy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Very
Glad
excited
to be here.
to talk about this. Yeah, so you own the Holistic Kitchen. Let's first explain what holistic cooking is.
Thank you, Chad. I am thrilled to share my kitchen tips, and I get asked that a lot. What does holistic even mean? For me, it is all about replacing ingredients in recipes that tend to promote disease, things like sugar, gluten, dairy, with all natural alternatives that give us a finished product that is healthy. It feeds the body, it feeds wellness, but more importantly, it tastes the way you remember it did.
And that's important.
Absolutely. Yeah. It gives you a sense of comfort, and that's what I call feeding the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've brought some goodies along today. What have you made for us? What is this?
This is a holistic holiday gingerbread with a diabetic-friendly icing.
Okay. And are we gonna, can you show us a little bit about how the magic happens?
You betcha.
All right, let's get into this.
The reason that it's holistic is I'm using a whole grain variety of different whole grain gluten-free flours.
Okay.
Adding a really great dosage of winter healing spices, clove, ginger, cinnamon. Add those to the dry ingredients. For sugar, the original recipe called for brown sugar, and instead I'm using coconut sugar, which looks and acts just like brown sugar, but it has a very low glycemic impact.
Okay.
Which is really important. Additionally, we needed molasses, and so instead I'm using coconut sap, again, because it has a very low glycemic impact, but it tastes just like molasses.
Okay.
Little tiny bit of stevia. It's a heart-healthy recipe. There's no sodium in it, and it called for oil, so I'm using coconut oil because it is super heart-healthy. Right. Saturated fat, but super heart-healthy.
That's good to know.
So
then you just mix it all together?
Yeah, we've got some wet ingredients, eggs, pumpkin, applesauce, and that gets mixed together and then added to the dry ingredients.
Okay.
And it's going to bake in the oven at 350 for an hour.
For an hour? Okay.
And then it'll be all ready to taste.
And then through the magic of TV, it ends up like this.
Absolutely.
With a beautiful display and everything. So you mentioned a few minutes ago foods that promote disease and foods that fight disease. So
right.
what are some of those that we need to be aware of?
Well, foods that promote disease, unfortunately today, are many foods in our standard American diet. Processed foods, factory-raised meats, sugar, and sugar gets snuck into things when we don't even realize it's there,
sure does.
called things that we don't recognize. So all of these things lead to something inside ourselves called inflammation. So for me, foods that fight disease are foods that fight inflammation.
Okay.
Things like whole foods, because when they get processed, all the good stuff gets stripped out. A rainbow of colors we need to be eating, because all those nutrients nature intended us to have. And most importantly, I think, is fiber. That's why I've added pumpkin and applesauce to the recipe today. Fiber is critical because it goes around soaking up the compounds in us that lead to inflammation.
Okay.
So fiber.
So it really helps clean us out. That's great. And it's really important to have, especially in a bread, something like this. So we would mix all this together in one of these pans right here?
Yeah. Right? A loaf pan, a 9x9. I used a loaf pan today.
Okay.
Any of those. And it's really simple. Once you get your ingredients measured out and blended together, then you just turn it out into your greased tin. And my bowl's a little small, so this will be challenging.
That's all right. That's all right. Steve, we can do anything on TV.
It's more for looks, really.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, so you use, I think, a great phrase when we're talking about our recipes, that we want to rehabilitate our recipes, which I think is a great way, because it's not abandoning what we love. No. It's fixing it and just making it healthier.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to give up what they love. Nobody does.
Right.
So if we can rehabilitate those recipes so that it's feeding wellness, but still feeding their sense of comfort, that's the key as far as I'm concerned.
Great. And how can our viewers contact you if they want to sign up for classes or learn more?
If they go to my website, theholistickitchen.com, they can email me from there. They can sign up for my free newsletter and kitchen tips there. That's the best way.
get it, yeah.
And poke around, because there's a whole lot of stuff on the website.
There is. It's a very informative website, folks. Lots of good stuff. Well, when we come back from this, I'm diving into this this diabetic-friendly pumpkin bread. It smells so good in here, folks. Stick around.